Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for HBAR. I was discussing this with a friend and I wanted to talk about a couple things on this. If you were tracking this basically the last year with me, you know we got the direction right a bunch, but it underperformed versus everything else in the market, which was very disappointing. A lot of three-wave moves, a lot of false breakouts, etc. And we had several options and to break out to the upside. The first one was this was potentially a 1-2-1-2, and I suggested a buy back in this zone. If you look back at my videos, the problem is we only got three waves to the upside. We should have consolidated sideways at or above this area and attempt a breakout above, right? But if you put on your tools like I always do, I took the Fibonacci extension tool of this wave to the downside, put on the 1.236 and 382, and if this is a flat, that's our area we would likely pivot. So that was a zone to pay attention to. And if you use standard guidelines in your trading, you would have taken this, because this would have been a third wave, put on our retracement tool, and you would have expected this wave to hold between the 382 and the 50, right? Come down, keep going. So as it attempted to move higher, obviously it failed. And these are questions I always ask myself when we start to look like we're breaking out. You say, if this isn't a breakout, how can we fail? These are the questions you ask yourself, and you'll be reminded of the tools to put up and what to look for, right? That's why guidelines are so helpful. I know they're not rules, but if you use your trading along with guidelines, you'll be way more successful than just, I got in this area. Instead of just saying, I got in at this low, I'm just going to put my stop there. Like, that's burying your head in the sand and ignoring all the new data coming in, right? So I was talking to a friend too about, is this possibly a diagonal in itself? I mean, it's possible, but very unlikely. The guidelines are all off. The targets actually hit okay, but just the length of these waves. Usually, you'd get the wave 1 the longest, then the wave 2, or sorry, the wave 3, then the wave 5 shorter than the previous. Just guidelines, it's still valid, but just wanted to say it is possible, because this can obviously be relabeled as a double zigzag as well. So it is possible, but I'm not optimistic on that. But that won't stop me from taking the current trade available next, which is a long in my point of view. And as of right now, just playing the safer approach of the two, and that is that I'm expecting a three-wave move to the upside to create this Y wave. Now we got a zigzag for our W wave. Y waves can be many different structures. We can get flats, we can get zigzags, right? We can get triangles as well. So we're gonna have to kind of get the best entry I can in this area, and then kind of let the pattern play out until the price action creates a pattern and makes sense. But I'll have some hard stops where the X wave isn't validated, right? Okay, so knowing that, we're now looking for a long at the bottom of this Y wave. And by the way, idealized targets, let's throw it out there for the Y wave. If we get the 1-to-1 off the 1.618 extension, is up at around 22 cents. That's if we get one more low here. If we hold in this area, it's a little higher than that. So right now, considering this a connecting wave for the Y. Now Y waves, there's no time guidelines on it. They can happen quick, they can happen long. This can even get dragged out in itself, become something more complex. But as of right now, it's important that this level holds. You can see all the support in this area. It's important that this level holds. So yeah, we'll talk about this area here. common target in an A expanded flat is the 1.618 extension of the W wave off the X, or if it was an ABC, the A off the B, which is at 5.46 cents. We did hit the 618 at 6.02 cents, but we do have the option to come down one more. We'll see how this holds up against Bitcoin, but this is what I was tracking here. It actually panned out pretty nicely if you were trading this all the way down. I have this as a Y wave because I have our B wave in the Y wave as a triangle currently. This can obviously get relabeled depending on the action that precedes, but right now this looks like a pretty ideal triangle to the downside as our A, B, C to complete. So right now just looking for 5 waves. This was our indication of the 4th wave. We had another triangle, so very helpful when you see triangles, because usually they are in 4th waves or B or X waves, right? They can't be in wave 2s. So usually you have one more preceding wave, unless it's of one larger degree, right? Okay, so this current count I have is 5 waves complete for our Y wave. So if this ends up holding as a 5-wave move at the low, our low is in. I was tracking this over the weekend. I'm currently in this, but I'm not super confident in it. It was an okay 5-wave move with a triangle 4, no overlap, nice targets as well. It was one of the ones that looked best out of pretty much all the attempts of coins here. My only concern is if this is labeled incorrectly or if it drags down when Bitcoin drags down. We also hit target of the triangle thrust. That was that mark in red right there. So we hit all targets necessary to be considered complete. You can see even off our pitchfork here for our 5 waves, we've hit off the low end of it as well. So all current evidence available says that the low is in. Now, if we do get another low, this has to be a 3-wave if this is a triangle, how would I relabel this, right? How I would actually relabel this if we do get another low, and again, I'd look for a buy entry again down at that 5.46 cents at the 1.618 extension. And how I'd end up relabeling this is as a diagonal, ABC, whether it's here or this was a triangle. Both were valid. We'd have an A, B, C. So that's our wave 1, 2, 3. Working on our 4th. Could also be in if this is a complex structure and not a impulse. And then we get our 5th wave. And this would be a diagonal structure rather than an impulse. You can see the complication of how it can be counted both ways, depending if we get one more wave down. It's not the cleanest impulse, but this leads me to believe this is a wave 4, right, within the impulse. So not going to know until the next reaction here, but this is the zone I'm looking for, right? So anytime I see indication of a potential bottom, it's in my best interest to at least take a 1% risk based on my account size that the bottom is in, because that will be the best risk reward available in the entire move to the upside, right? Okay, so if this is the low, what would I want to see? You can see this is a 3-wave similar to Bitcoin, which is not bullish because we've already overlapped, so it can't be an impulse. It has to be an ABC. Well, if this is going to hold up against Bitcoin, you can see we also hit off the 618, so we'd want to protect this level. We don't want to come down any lower, because as soon as we hit past that 618 with significance, if we come to like the 786, probabilities shift, right, that we're going to be making another low. So what would I be looking for here? Well, in the best case scenario, not high probability. This would have to be a 1-2, 1-2, and we just jolt, right? Things I don't like about that is this being a second 1-2, it's much larger than the first 1-2, so that's a negative towards that scenario playing out. It's not something I would want to be highly confident on, right? What I would like to see, this looks like some sort of complex correction, most likely some sort of combination because of all the overlap. What I would like to see is if this is some sort of A wave and something more complex, where this becomes a W wave, make something here, X, and then we make some sort of running flats. If you've watched my videos before, we've talked about in bullish markets, the best corrections we can get are running flats. And what that is a 3-3-3 or a 3-3-5 correction, where the A wave is defended by the C wave. So our B wave actually makes a higher wave than this wave 1, and the C wave actually doesn't make a new low below the A wave. So that would be the ideal situation if the low holds. And this is where we can move ahead and at least have our tools ready to spot that, so we don't forget about it, right? So I'd put on my ENX zone. 1.618 extension is the invalidation of that. Oh, did I move that? 732. That's exactly where we'd want our B wave to be, between 7.32 and 7.46. All right. So I would either wait for this or wait for this, right? This is a short opportunity as well, depending how this wave pans out. Because the other option is this turns into some sort of diagonal, right? We have our wave 1, 2 in or soon to come, 3, 4, 5, and this can be an entire 1-2, 1-2. In that situation, we'd put on our retracement tool. Again, look between the 50 and the 618. Look for previous support zones, most likely this fourth wave, and look for a long that way. Now the issue you're always going to have with this is this also makes an A, B, C, right? 5-3-5. So what's most important is what happens after this. Do we sell off quick, in which case we're most likely to make a new low, or do we trend sideways in some sort of corrective pattern? But at that point, we can take a look at all the evidence available and make a decision based on the probabilities at that point. In which case, I'll put up a video, obviously, and let you know. But as of right now, there's potential that a bottom is in. Potential. It's a pretty clean 5 wave. Again, it's the best one I've seen so far out of every asset I've seen. It's holding up okay. It's at the 618. We're just going to have to pay attention what happens next. Do we get some sort of flat pattern? Do we get some sort of diagonal as another 1-2? We'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, I know I kind of dragged on this one. Just wanted to make it clear that there's no high probability trade right now. I wouldn't be surprised to come us down one more time to get that diagonal we talked about, or if we get a flat or another diagonal to the upside. But we are getting close, which is exciting. I get more excited about potential opportunities than like being in the trade live, you know. When you can see these potentials coming, where if we drop soon, you know, you're looking even up to like 200-300% move just on a correction, right? That's pretty exciting. But anyways, that's it for this one. I will be sure to update this one on the regular. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.